Good morning. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning. It is Monday, April 13th, 2026, 9 o'clock a.m. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Let's call it to order. Roll call, please.
Perry Buck.
Here.
Lynette Pepler.
Present.
Kevin Ross. Jason Maxey.
Here.
Scott James.
Here. Let the record reflect that for the 5 county commissioners present, with Commissioner Ross being excused. Minutes, I'd ask for approval of minutes from March 30, 2026, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the minutes from March 30th, 2026 are approved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Buck, second by Commissioner Pepler to approve the minutes. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Houston, are there any amendments to the agenda?
No, there are not.
Thank you. Need approval of the consent agenda, please.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Maxey, second by Commissioner Pepler to approve the consent agenda. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Presentations and proclamations. We have 2 this morning. First, National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. Lori, Alicia, and your whole crew, come on forward and I'll read this into the record, please. This is a proclamation for National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. Whereas no one knows when an emergency will happen, but when it does, there is a certainty a professional will answer the 911 call and facilitate critical response. And whereas in Weld County, those professionals include dispatchers and call takers, as well as those working behind the scenes, radio technicians, quality assurance and training personnel, programming personnel, and an administrative team, all dedicated to providing the best service possible to the public and others responding agencies. And whereas the dedication of those individuals is exemplified in the work that they do, staffing the Weld County Regional Communications Center 24/7, 365 to provide a critical helping hand when it's needed most. In 2025, these efforts resulted in 21 Lifesaver Awards being given to dispatchers whose actions met various proficiency standards and were integral in helping individuals survive their incidents. Efforts to successfully help deliver a baby were also recognized, and 1 Stork Award being issued. And whereas the commitment to providing top-notch 911 service, recognized as some of the best in the nation, extends beyond individuals and also includes technological advancements from the implementation of a text to 911 service in 2017 to more recently launching PulsePoint, empowering residents to provide CPR to those in need while first responders are en route. Those elements, combined with the recent expansion of the Weld County Regional Communication Center, have the county's 911 service poised for success in the future. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners that April 12th through the 18th, 2026, be known as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. With this proclamation, we thank our public safety communications professionals for their heroic and life-saving service. Signed this day, all 5 county commissioners.
Absolutely.
Lori, good morning, please.
Hey, I just want to start off and say thank you to the board. Your support for public safety is really unsurpassed in the industry, and it makes all the difference. I also want to thank the public safety communications team. I've brought some of them. Their tremendous dedication, tenacity, skill, heart is also unsurpassed in the industry, and that makes all the difference as well. I think you put those 2 things together, a board that is committed, a team that is equally committed, and you have a rock solid foundation that allows us to rise and meet any challenge head on with the highest level of professional excellence. And that is what our duty asks of us and demands. And so for all of those things, I'm extremely thankful and very, very proud.
Lori, be so kind as to introduce your colleagues, if you would.
Yes, I will let them introduce themselves, but if you have a moment at the microphone, please.
I'm Leisha Stedman. I'm the center manager.
Julie Nelson, Quality Assurance for Medical.
Justin Burling, Emergency Communications Supervisor.
Jessica Powers, Professional Standards.
Yvette Avalos, I am QA for Law.
Shayla Wall, QA Manager.
Nick Seipelt, Quality Assurance Fire.
Mark Patterson, Communications Supervisor.
Josh Rashavi, Program Specialist.
Allison Dennison, E911 MSAG Program Manager.
Well, it's awesome to have you here. Congratulations on National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, or Telecommunicators Week. Comments from commissioners. Commissioner Pepler, please.
It was interesting this year to find out that the first 911 call was made February 16th, 1968, 58 years ago, on a rotary phone. The advancement of technology has changed, and it's just staggering to me. Yet behind all of this amazing technology are these amazing folks and many more. You assist the persons on the other side of those calls. You're constantly striving to improve the service that you provide. Thank you for being the calm in the chaos.
Commissioner Maxey, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was able to recently do what was told to me was a sit-along. They didn't call it a ride-along, so I was able to do a sit-along with your department, and I was very thankful to be able to get just a little 2-hour glimpse into your world. This proclamation talks about 21 lifesavers and 1 Stork Award. Didn't have any of that on my 2-hour sit-along with your fabulous department. And I'm actually thankful for that. I'm thankful that there wasn't that excitement out in the world. We ran license plates and we ran driver's licenses and things like that. So that was my day. Responded to a few fire calls. But my point is that whether or not it's a lifesaver award or whether or not it might just kind of seem run-of-the-mill day to you, you all provide essential services to our community and to our first responders that very few people are even aware of. And so my small glimpse into your world was just fantastic and amazing. I am so thankful for your professionalism, your dedication, and your expertise that you bring to the job every day. And I'm so thankful that we have the equipment and the facilities to help you do the best job that you can. And I just thank you so much for showing up every day and for what you bring to work and to our community. So thank you.
Commissioner Buck.
Wow. I was very fortunate to also have, I called it a ride along, where it was a ride, because it started with a senior couldn't find her walker somewhere and she thought someone had stolen it, but then it turned into a big accident on 119. Then it was a neighbor watching another neighbor's house getting burglarized, and then it was someone that was attempting to commit suicide, and they had to do the ping to find the gentleman. And then on the other side of the cubicle was 1-2, where they were doing CPR. I have to tell you, they asked me not to come back. But I realized in those moments I couldn't do what you do. You are an absolute incredible asset to this community. You bring the calm to the chaos. It was not more than a couple days after that, I saw a lady collapse on the sidewalk, and I called 911, and my heart is just pounding, but she just gave me that calmness that I needed, that I could make the right decision for this poor lady that was on the sidewalk. So again, I cannot say enough, because I will start crying. Too late.
You done crying? My sit-along featured a guy that was wearing nothing but a belt and a smile running around his front yard. But to you, that was just a normal day. And I have had to use your service and was very appreciative of the calm on the other end of the voice, or on the other end of the phone. I appreciate you guys so much. This county rightly recognizes our first responders, all too often the guys and gals in the badge, but the true first responders are the folks that are on the receiving end of that 911 call when you issue our law enforcement and our safety, and when you send them off to do their things. You oftentimes are there with those people on that phone until our folks with the badge arrive. Thank you for being first responders that should be honored just as much as our police officers and firefighters. God bless you in your continued work. Can we take a picture, please? We love it. Thank you. Okay, next up is a proclamation for National Crime Victims' Rights Week. Mr. District Attorney and your crew, come on forward, please, and I'll read this into the record. Whereas crime in America has a devastating impact on victims and survivors and tears in the social fabric of our society as a whole. And whereas no victim or survivor should have to endure the trauma of victimization and its impact, physical, financial, emotional, spiritual, and social alone. And whereas the community of crime victims and survivors, those who serve them, and countless allies work together to ensure victims' needs are identified and met with quality, collaborative, and comprehensive services. And whereas there are more than 12,000 system and community-based victim service programs across the nation that help crime survivors and promote community safety, and over 32,000 laws that define and protect victims' rights. And whereas 2026 is the 45th anniversary of National Crime Victims' Rights Week, first proclaimed by President Ronald Reagan in 1981. And whereas the time-honored tradition unites all who care about crime victimization and survivors to acknowledge and honor survivors, their challenges, and their strengths. And whereas during 2026 National Crime Victims' Rights Week, we encourage efforts to promote and strengthen the extensive community that supports and serves victims and survivors of crime. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of Weld County Commissioners that the week of April 19th through the 26th, 2026, be known as Crime Victims' Rights Weeks in Weld County. The board is proud to recognize the organizations throughout Weld County, including the Weld County District Attorney's Office, that work together to support and provide valuable resources and services to victims and survivors of crime each and every day. Sign this day, all 5 county commissioners. Mr. District Attorney, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michael Rourke, Weld County District Attorney. I want to take an opportunity to do something a little bit different this year. For the better part of 20 years, I've stood before you on Crime Victims' Rights Week, and I've done the talking. And I think that that's a swing and a miss on my part. This year, what I think is most crucial for this board and for our community to hear is to hear from the victim services providers themselves, to hear what they do, to hear how important their work is to a victim who had to call 911 for the folks that were just up here before in communications when they have nowhere else to turn. And so you're not going to hear from me today. You're going to hear from the victim services providers in this county who do such incredible work. I've taken the liberty of inviting a number of different folks to speak because I think it is that important based upon events that are occurring at the national, state, and frankly at the local level. I think that we as a community need to hear how important the work is that these folks do. So without further ado, I want to first invite Carol Patch, Director of Victim Services from the Weld County DA's office, to give a little history about how we got to where we are today.
Good morning. All right, a little history for you. But first, which came first, the victim or the crime? So for a little history for you today, in 1981, when President Reagan was shot in an assassination attempt, President Reagan was shot in an assassination attempt. After his experience with the criminal justice system, he sent task forces out across America to find out how the average citizen felt. An overwhelming majority of victims stated that if they had the chance to go back, they would never even report their crime again due to their experience in the criminal justice system. In 1982, President Ronald Reagan's task force on victims of crime released its final report, which concluded that the neglect of crime victims in America was a national disgrace. In response to this, in 1992, Colorado voters passed the Victims' Rights Act, giving victims constitutional rights, not a state mandate by legislative bodies, but the Colorado voters gave victims a constitutional right no less than the defendants. These rights must be followed throughout the state. The answer to the question at the beginning of which came first is neither or both. Every time a violent crime is committed, someone becomes a victim. While law enforcement and prosecution are essential in the criminal justice system to hold offenders accountable, I would encourage you to view victim services as an equally critical part of that team. Well, we ask victims every day for the strength to report their crime in the face of fear, to relive their crime in front of their offender in an effort to find justice, but also to keep our community safe from future crimes. If victims feel they are not finding justice in the system and they don't report their crimes, how do we in Weld County keep Weld County safe?
Sydney Brown and Faith Thompson from the Greeley Police Department Victim Services.
My name is Heather Wright. I'm the Victim Services Manager. I'm going to kind of narrow into Colorado and the Victims' Rights Act, which you heard was passed in 1992. I'm happy and both sad to say that Colorado has had to learn through trial by fire when it comes to victim services. Not many people may remember that the Oklahoma City bombing trial occurred here in Denver. In 1992, victim advocacy was starting to get very established, and our victim advocates here in Denver helped those families, making sure that every family during that trial had a victim advocate that made sure that they got to their hotel, got to where the hearings were taking place, knew where they could get food. My family, on a personal level, always tells me, come back and do victim services back in Logan County, and all respect out to there, but I would never do it because I am so lucky here in Weld County, where you will get to hear from our system-based providers and our community-based providers today. We have such a robust system. You're going to get to hear from a victim of ours and their family, and how coming from out of state, they firsthand got to witness how Weld County does it right for victims of crime. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sydney Brown. I'm a victim advocate specialist under Heather. We're out of the Greeley Police Department, but along with that, we cover 12 other police departments here in Weld County. We provide that 24/7, 365 crisis intervention, safety planning. We respond out to those calls that come into dispatch. We choose to believe when they call in and help stand by them and do that soft handoff into the DA's office. We run off of 7 staff members in our office along with 8 volunteers. We just have that philosophy when those victims come to you to believe them and just to go through that process with them.
And then I'm going to be reading a statement from a murder-suicide we had last year in the victim's family. Laura Ashley Rubin was our daughter, sister, mother, teacher, and friend. She was 40 years old when her life was taken by her husband after years of abuse that escalated over time and ended in her death. Laura was a highly respected teacher in District 6 in Greeley at Northridge High School, supporting students who are visually impaired and working closely with staff. Earlier in her career, she supported adults with autism. She was the person people trusted, the one who spoke up when others could not. She made sure every voice in the room mattered, especially the ones most often ignored. But like many who spend their lives advocating for others, Laura struggled to extend that same voice to herself. When she made the hardest attempts to separate from domestic violence and protect her 2 daughters, Weld County victim advocates became that voice. They stepped into the moments that were overwhelming and dangerous. They helped her think clearly when fear made everything feel impossible. They stayed consistent. They listened without judgment. They made sure she was not alone in the process of trying to survive. That support matters more than people understand. Without it, the path narrows, decisions become harder, risk increases. Advocacy is not optional support. It is a layer of protection. Even after Laura's life was taken, the advocates did not step back. They stood with her daughters. They stood with our family. They helped us move through systems we were not prepared to face in the middle of grief. They connected us to organizations that helped recover Laura's and her children's belongings. They guided us through victim compensation that covered burial expenses and eased financial burden we could not carry at that time. They helped us access counseling, legal support, and practical resources when everything felt unsteady. Their work did not end with Laura. It expanded to hold all of us. We are sharing Laura's story today not only to express gratitude, but to be clear about what this means. Preventing violence is not only about accountability after harm occurs. It is ensuring victims have immediate, real access to support that can change outcomes when they are still in danger. Safety planning, guidance in crisis, someone trained to recognize risk and respond in real time, these are not extras. They are life-saving. Laura's story is one of strength. It is also a warning about what happens when support is missing or delayed. When we want safer communities, if we want to interrupt violence before it escalates, if we want victims to have a real chance to survive and rebuild, then victim advocacy must remain visible, funded, and fully supported. This work saves lives. When it is absent, the cost is not theoretical, it is real. We share this in Laura's name and for every person who made one day need someone to stand beside them when they cannot stand alone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for continued support. Thank you for advocating.
To speak as victims of crime, it's my honor to introduce Julie and Larry Cozad.
Thank you, Michael. Good morning. I'm Julie Cozad, and this is my husband, Larry. And I know a lot of people here in the audience and all of you, and I want to thank you for acknowledging victims' rights this week. I think it's so important. As many of you know, but not everyone, Larry and I went through a very hard time my very first year as county commissioner. I was up at a CCI conference, and Larry was home, and we got the call that no parent wants to get. Larry's 31-year-old daughter was victimized and was killed in Adams County, in unincorporated Adams County. And I came home from that conference, and it was about midnight when I got home, and Larry was already down at the sheriff's office in Adams County. And one of the first things that he said that he remembers is after they questioned him for a little while, a victim's advocate came in and sat with him and talked to him because he felt like, you know, he was actually a criminal, like he was put in a room and talked to and asked a lot of questions. But this victim's advocate really helped him get through that probably most horrible night of his life. After that, it was a full year before we had the trial down in Adams County. And again, the district attorney's office were there for us, helped us go through the process, explained everything to us, but also put us in a soft room where we weren't just in a you know, with hard chairs in a cold room. It was very welcoming, and they kept us informed the whole entire time. They also told us that there were some parts of the trial that they didn't think we should be in the room. And so they sat with us during those portions and then, you know, would come back and get us and tell us it's okay to go back in. So I just think through that whole process, that was just so important for us as a family, for our healing. And then I just want to thank all of the providers that are here too, because even though our daughter was the actual victim of the crime, families are victims too. And I mean, you can tell by my voice, it's still very emotional. Like Perry, I cry very easily. And it's a very emotional thing, and it's not something that goes away, but the services they all provide are just equally important. And Larry, you know, luckily had counseling and had some help getting through some of that time. I'm going to let him speak for just a minute, but the other thing I just wanted to say is I volunteered my time, and I've been on the Vail board, and I'm the chair now, and I've been on the board for almost 5 years. And again, we get to interact with a lot of these agencies, and they just do such a great job. And I just think the funding part of it is so important, and I think it's an essential service that is provided by the district attorney's office and our sheriff and police officers.
Good morning. I just want to kind of reiterate what Julie said. I mean, that night was the worst night of my life, obviously. And having one of these people, these victims advocates there to help me get through that night, that was what did it. And I also want to say I'm kind of in a unique position because as a retired Weld County Sheriff's Deputy, I worked at the courthouse for the past 5 years prior to retiring. And I worked with a lot of these ladies that are sitting right here. And I watched the impact day to day, day in, day out that they have on the victims. And so that unique perspective of having been a victim and receiving those services and then watching other people go through that same thing, they provide a service that is just invaluable. So thank you.
Thank you.
Now the question becomes, when a victim does need assistance in the community, to where do they seek that assistance? What I've asked is that I asked all the programs in Weld County to speak. I have some who chose to speak, and I'm very honored to introduce the following groups who really do work with victims once victims unfortunately have been created in our community in ways that I don't think most of us truly understand. So I first want to invite up Alyssa Saint, who is the MAD Services Specialist for Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Good morning. So I am a victim service specialist with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and I cover the northeast, fourth of the state. In 2025, Colorado saw 235 fatalities due to impaired driving. In Weld County, there were 25 fatalities due to impaired driving, putting Weld County at the second highest county in Colorado with impaired fatalities. My role is to stand alongside individuals and families affected by impaired driving, ensuring they are supported, heard, and treated with dignity throughout their journey. I serve as a compassionate listener, providing a safe space for victims to share their experiences, grief, and concerns without judgment. I help guide victims through complex systems, including medical, legal, and court processes, so they're not overwhelmed or left feeling alone. This includes explaining their rights, accompanying them to court proceedings, and assisting with victim impact statements so their voices can be meaningfully represented. Above all, my role as a victim advocate is to ensure that no victim feels invisible or alone. I am there to amplify their voice, uphold their rights, and support their path toward healing and justice. MAD also plays a vital role in giving voice to victims whose lives have forever been changed by impaired driving. For many families, the aftermath of a crash is filled with grief, confusion, and a sense that their loved ones' stories could be overlooked. MAD helps ensure that these stories are heard through victim impact panels, court advocacy, and community outreach so that victims are not reduced to statistics, but remembered as individuals with lives, dreams, and families. By elevating these voices, MAD fosters empathy and awareness in ways that laws cannot. Hearing directly from these affected by impaired driving can profoundly influence attitudes and behavior, making the consequences of such actions real and deeply human. At the same time, MAD is committed to holding offenders accountable. The organization advocates for stronger laws, supports fair sentencing, and works closely with the justice system to ensure that impaired driving is treated with the seriousness that it deserves. This balance of compassion for victims and accountability for offenders help promote both justice and prevention. Through our work at MAD, we honor those impacted by impaired driving and also help to create safer communities. By speaking up for victims and insisting on responsibility, the organization drives meaningful change, reminding us that every impaired driving crash is preventable and every choice behind the wheel matters. Thank you.
I'd like to invite up Tammy Fisher, who is the Family Support and Education Manager for Lutheran Family Services.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the board for this opportunity to be here today. My name is Tammy Fisher. I serve as the Family Support and Education Manager with Lutheran Family Services, where I have been fortunate enough to oversee the Care House Supervised Family Time and Safe Exchange program since its inception in 1999. I do want to recognize Kendall Tiedemann because she is a very intricate part of the visitation center as well. Every day we work with families navigating incredibly difficult circumstances, often where safety, trust, and stability have been disrupted. We support not only children who may not always have the words to express what they are experiencing, but also the adult victims who are working to rebuild stability, a safety, a sense of control back in their lives. Our role is to provide a structured, neutral environment where children can maintain connections while ensuring their emotional and physical safety, and where adult victims can feel supported in a process that also prioritizes their safety. What I see time and time again is that victims, both children and adults, don't always have a voice in these situations. It takes all of us working together to make sure those voices are heard and protected. We each play a different role, but together we create a system that not only holds offenders accountable, but most of all also supports healing, stability, and hope for the families we serve. I have said this more times than I can count, just how grateful I am to be a part of a community that is so very committed to doing this work together. And I want to thank everybody here for all the work that they continue to do to make this possible. Thank you.
I'd like to invite up Tammy Rosales and Steve McLaughlin from Catholic Charities.
Good morning. Thank you for having us this morning. My name is Steve McLaughlin. I am the Emergency Assistance Program Supervisor for Catholic Charities in Weld County. I'd just like to open this up with Tammy. I work alongside Tammy. We also provide victim assistance services under my umbrella. Tammy's going to speak a little bit about the victims assistance services that we provide to the community, and then I'd like to follow up just a little bit of what we're able to do on the emergency assistance side as well.
Good morning. My name is Tammy Rosales, and I work as the Emergency Victims Assistance Coordinator for Catholic Charities. I am new. I've not been here but about 5 months, 6 months, but I enjoy this. I've done this before, and I'm here to serve, and it's an honor to be here to help other people. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what our program involves. We do serve many different varieties of victims that come through Catholic Charities. And what we provide is, let me put my glasses on because I cannot see. We provide hotel stays, food, relocation, rent, utilities, and more. We also refer out to many of our amazing partners that are sitting out here today that I get to work with and speak with, and they help go alongside me to ensure that these victims are helped and that they feel important, because in that time of need they don't. They are crying out for help. So that's what we're here to stand in that gap. We have worked with about 19 victims, but unfortunately we've had to turn away more than 8 or so victims, limited to our funds. But we are here to help and be here as much as we possibly can. Thank you.
So when Tammy talks about unfortunately having to turn away about 8 victims this year so far, it is based on funding. I mean, we're in a very excellent position at Catholic Charities. We're able to leverage a lot of our funding in other areas. We have a shelter in this community, so if we need to shelter and the term that Tammy and I like to use in our office is not so much victims as much as survivors. We call them survivors. So the survivors we work with, if we're able to place them in our shelter, we can protect them in the situation they're in. But we're also in a position to leverage other funding that we're fortunate to have in the area of utilities, rent, and in those veins. But primarily we are restricted a little bit based on our funding levels, but I think the quality of service that we provide and the partnerships that we have with all of our folks who provide referrals to us is just amazing in this community, and we do get a tremendous amount of feedback from the folks that we do serve. And I want to thank you for allowing us to speak to you this morning. Thank you.
I'd like to invite up Diane Held, the Executive Director for A Woman's Place.
I'm so grateful to work in Weld County and serve our community in partnership with everyone that's represented here today. As the only domestic violence shelter in Weld County, A Woman's Place serves as a vital lifeline to the community. Our agency provides 24-hour crisis support line, safety planning, emergency shelter, and programs that build on long-term stability for the clients that we serve. We recently opened our new facility that allows us to support twice as many people and has enhanced security and improved accessibility. Every day we're committed to supporting, uplifting, and empowering individuals as they rebuild their lives, reminding survivors that there is hope. That there's hope for a future free from abuse, hope that their children can grow up safe and break the cycle of poverty, hope for long-term stability, hope in knowing that while abuse was part of their story, it does not define who they are. But leaving an abusive relationship requires more than courage. It requires access to critical resources and support systems. For 48 years, our agency has partnered closely with local law enforcement, with the district attorney's office, healthcare providers, and these community organizations behind me. As funding landscapes shift and resources become more limited, these partnerships are so much more valuable and important than ever, required to sustain and coordinate a response in Weld County. Thank you so much for your continued support and commitment to supporting survivors of domestic violence.
I'd like to invite up Kimberly Corbin Rourke, Director of Development and Marketing from Saba.
Good morning. My name is Kimberly Corbin Rourke. I am the Director of Development and Marketing for Saba. Our CEO, Allison Jones Lockwood, could not be here today, so she sent me, and I apologize in advance because I brought notes. I wanted to tell you all, if you weren't familiar with Saba, it's the Sexual Assault Victim Advocate Center. We have been in Larimer and Weld County now for quite some time, but this year we are actually celebrating the 50th anniversary of our 24/7 hotline. So we have been a resource in this community, and it's one that not the entire state and definitely not the entire nation have. We make sure that we are there to answer that call when it comes in every day. Regardless of the time of day, our advocates are going out to forensic examinations with these victims. They are accompanying them to court. They are there to offer them support and resources, regardless of their circumstances. And that's something that we don't always see. They are not making headlines in this way. It's not a conversation that most of us are having around the dinner table. But this is the reality for so many people in our community. Saba is offering trauma-focused therapy. This is for survivors and their loved ones in stages 3 and up. At that point, it's really hard to imagine, but this is something that I'm certain most of the people here in this audience are well aware of. This impacts a broad range of ages. We also provide prevention education in our schools, so it's age appropriate. Learning about what consent is, what we can have as conversations, what things are okay for us to talk about with our peers, and that starts early. There is no better way to prevent sexual violence than to start those conversations, and having them in our schools is of incredible importance. So we work in partnership with all the folks that you see here today, and all of us are feeling that squeeze, that lack of support that you're hearing about, because we run on shoestring budgets. Most of us are nonprofits, and this year, 1/3 of our budget for Saba was cut. We serve Weld and Larimer counties, and those are two booming communities that are increasing in the amount of people that we are serving. So while we're having to do more with less, we are making sure that that call is answered every single time. We rely on volunteers, donations from our community, and together we're making sure that that crisis line that's ringing is answered, and that is, again, 24/7. Many of you may have heard of like national hotlines that will farm out to different folks. I know that A Woman's Place sees these as well, but that's quite literally us that's on the other end of those lines. As someone who's had to make that call myself, I cannot imagine what it would be like if someone wasn't there to answer. It's 1 in 2 women and 1 in 3 men, which is a tough number when you're talking about the statistics, but those are our neighbors. Those are your constituents. And I feel confident in saying that there are few public health crises that would impact as many people in our community as sexually based violence. Our open house for Saba, if you'd like to get to know us a little bit better in Weld and Greeley specifically, is going to be next Wednesday. I will be sure to send you all invitations, and everyone from the community is invited. But the folks that are going to be there will do a much better job of describing what they do in their day-to-day work when they are answering those calls, when they are having people walk through our doors, not having anywhere else to turn and not knowing what to do next. Our prevention educators will be there to answer questions, as well as our therapists who provide that trauma-focused therapy to survivors, their loved ones, and those kiddos in play therapy, ages 3 and up. So I would love to have you there. It's from 4 to 6 next Wednesday at our Greeley office, and we're right by Garretson's. But thank you very much for recognizing this very important week and for all of the support that I know you'll give to Victim Services.
On behalf of the smallest victims in our community, I'd like to invite up Jill Henry, who is the Child Advocacy Center Program Administrator for Life Stories.
Hello. Good morning. So I am Jillian Henry. I am the Child Advocacy Center Program Manager for Life Stories Child and Family Advocacy. Life Stories has 2 different nationally accredited programs under our umbrella, the Child Advocacy Center program, and then also our CASA program, so our court-appointed special advocates. As I work with the CAC program more, that's where I'm going to speak to today. I'm so glad that Kim brought up one of the key things that SAVA does is prevention, because prevention is notoriously underfunded. We as a society respond to crime instead of preventing it. That being said, when we look at some of the numbers, especially of child crime, the majority of the things that we are seeing at Life Stories is child sexual abuse. 1 in 4 girls, 1 in 6 boys before their 18th birthday will be victims of child sexual abuse, and that's just sexual crime. Every 10 seconds in the United States, a new report of child abuse is made. When we look at the numbers in Weld County, based on how many youth are living in Weld County, that equates to about 19,500 kids that would need our services. Some of our services include family advocacy. Oftentimes, we are the first line because someone has finally found the bravery to tell their story. And so they come to us, and I think a lot of things that go unnoticed are the true cost of being a victim of crime. It's further than just the emotional things. It's the little things that come up. The cost of parking when you have to meet with an attorney. The cost of a new outfit. If your favorite outfit is the one that you were assaulted in, and you now have to give that up in a medical exam. Sometimes that's a favorite state championship t-shirt or things that can't actually be replaced. But what we can do with some of the funds that we're given is extend even the smallest, simplest gestures, such as giving a new outfit, such as giving gas gift cards for parents that now have to take paid time off that maybe they don't have and have to travel for their child to receive a forensic interview. Another honor that I have is being a forensic interviewer here in Weld County. Last year, we did 307 forensic interviews. That's 307 different times that a child was brave enough to tell their story that maybe they've never told before. Already this year, we are on pace to do 100 more interviews than last year. Understanding also that those are kids that are coming out with their stories now. The average age of disclosure of child sexual abuse, right? So it's happening under the age of 18, but it's not getting reported until someone is 52 to 54 years old. With all of the people in this room, we can all work together to help Weld County and to help kids and even adults know that they're not alone and that they're listened to and that they're supported and that we're here for all of those little things that maybe are not too little to those families. I want to thank you. It's an honor to work in this county and to work alongside so many of the people in this room. And thank you guys for letting us speak today.
And you have an event coming up.
I do. Yes, so Life Stories annual gala is this Friday. It is Red Carpet Rodeo. So I'm really excited to see all of our supporters and our team there. So thank you so much for bringing that up.
I bet you.
On behalf of the Address Confidentiality Program, I'd like to invite up Chris Eichenberg.
Thank you, Mike. I am a victim of sexual abuse, my children. And I belong to the Address Confidentiality Program, which is in Colorado. This didn't come about for a long time. And when I was 24 years old, my son and daughter were exposed to abuse. I was called a hysterical mother at that time. That was the best term social services could come up with, or Mr. Barker. And I could not get help. And I am so grateful to God. These people are here because you have nobody that understands this. Not even the churches, not even the pastors, and I am a pastor. And so, having been a victim and having nowhere to go, Crossroads was where I went. And Crossroads was able to get me protected from any abuse. All victims of sexual abuse or violence are given this card. This card has it's not our true address. We never give our true address out because we can be found by ex-husbands or boyfriends that can find us through being security guards for a company, through insurance companies. Fred Lloyd is very famous for, you have insurance with your husband and they will pull up your records and all of a sudden your address is exposed. And this has been a fight for ACP to try to get these things changed legislatively to protect us from being exposed. Please forgive me, I'm a little emotional because I'm so grateful. I was 24 years old. Just got done running for the mayor, really, I was 23, when I discovered my children were being exposed to sexual abuse, that I had actually been exposed to it. There was nobody to talk to. There was nowhere to go. These advocacy groups that you have now are going to help, but my only answer was to sue the county because the social worker didn't believe me. It's very important you believe when somebody tells you that they have been a victim of abuse. Instead, my response 20 years ago was, oh, you're a hysterical mom. You know, you're a hysterical mom. You know, you're just trying to get attention. This is the attitude just 20 years ago that we've had to deal with. There's been no place to go to seek, hide. Family members, you're going to be found. So I wanted to bring this to your attention. There are protocols that the courts have to follow. And because of this, it's on the back of this card. It gives you the CRS number. And it's CRS 524302108. And anybody that's in this participates in this should be able to present this card. And I can't tell you how many times I've run into sheriff's deputies that are not trained. And I've talked to Sergeant Byrd at the Greeley Police Department. I've worked with him to get it known for his officers that if they come across a victim of us, that all we have to do is say ACP and they'll understand. Okay? Part of our problem is that there's not enough communications between the sheriff and the police department here. I had dealt this last year with 2 suicides. People that I knew that were abused. One of them was with a dear friend, and you went to school with him, Perry. His sister was murdered by her husband. She'd been abused for years. And going through that and trying to help him survive that trauma. If it hadn't been for these people, and I'm calling them to see how to help them and how to put them in connection. And then thank God for Sergeant Byrd being in there and helping, because I didn't have a playbook. I don't have a list of people I can call, which I need, so that I can continue as a pastor to do my job. As court, I'm going to refer to this. Sometimes ACP people need to be found for whatever reason. And what happens is that there's a protocol to go through. I had a situation where I went to my mailbox and I had cleaned around it for the county, cleaned the mailbox. And I was arrested for going to my mailbox. I'd had it for 15 years. It was my only mailbox that I received my ACP information at, and also through FEMA because I went through the flood. I found out that somebody, the public defender's or in the office.
Point to me, I'm not the public defender.
No, I mean, the DA's office had taken the previous mailbox. The owner was dead. What happens when your mailbox is retired, when you're dead? So that mailbox is not used, that address is not used. But the DA, to get a hold of me, tried to get a hold of me using a dead man's mailbox. And I got stopped. And the public defender, all they had was this dead man's mailbox. But the DA is the one that did it. But yet, I'm registered. And they need to put this in the records at Weld County. So I want you to know that there are loopholes that are missing that we need to shore up. We need to educate our older men not to consider when women come to them and tell them that they're not a hysterical person. They're trying to tell you what's going on in their lives, and it's important. I'm grateful Mike has put together this group of incredible people. But I want it to be done right. I want it to be done so that it is effective and not wasting time. Thank you.
A group that I am exceedingly proud of, and I would ask all of them to stand up, is the Victim Witness Assistance Program for the Weld County District Attorney's Office. And speaking on behalf of that group, I'd like to invite up Gabriela Diaz and Amanda DeMint.
Good morning. My name is Gabriela Diaz. I could not have done this without you. A sentence I often hear from victims or witnesses after the court process is finally over. Words that embody the reason why I continue to show up to work every day. Working as a victim witness assistant at the district attorney's office is both demanding and deeply meaningful. The role centers on supporting individuals who have experienced crime, guiding them through a legal system that can often feel overwhelming, unfamiliar, and intimidating. Victim witness assistants act as a bridge between victims and prosecutors, ensuring that those affected by crime are informed, prepared, and treated with dignity throughout the justice process. Without victims, we wouldn't be able to hold defendants accountable for their actions. One of the most important responsibilities in the role is providing emotional support. Victims and witnesses may be dealing with fear, trauma, or confusion, and simply having someone who listens and explains what to expect can make a significant difference. Whether it is helping someone understand court procedures, accompanying them to court hearings, or explaining their rights, our roles help build a sense of stability during a difficult time. In addition to emotional support, victim witness assistants also handle practical tasks. They notify victims of court dates, help them apply for compensation programs, and coordinate witnesses for jury trials. This requires a strong organizational skill set, attention to detail, and the ability to communicate clearly and compassionately. Balancing empathy with professionalism is essential, as we must remain supportive while also adhering to legal procedures. Knowing that our work helps someone feel heard, protected, and empowered within the justice system brings a strong sense of purpose. Victim witness assistants play a crucial role in ensuring that justice is not only carried out, but experienced in a humane and supportive way by those most affected.
Good morning. My name's Amanda DeMint, and I have had the privilege of working for the Weld County District Attorney's Office as a victim witness assistant for the past 19 years. When I was asked to speak today, I was told that I needed to describe what it is I do for a living. And the best way that I could explain my job is that it's to fill in the cracks created when people are broken. It means that I'm something different each time, and I'm different with each victim that I serve. But many of the commissioners today talked about having the privilege of doing a ride-along or a sit-along with the emergency operators. You all haven't had the opportunity to do a sit-along with me, so I thought it might help to hear some practical experiences that I have had in my career. Just recently, I was on my way into work, and I received a frantic call from one of my colleagues. She was panicking and hoping that I had a spare pair of my 8-year-old son's pants in my car because the mother of a 9-year-old child sex assault victim had called her crying on the way to court because her son was so nervous about testifying in front of his abuser that he had vomited all over his pants. And she did not have the money or the ability to buy that child a new pair of pants. I did not have a spare pair of pants in my car, but I turned around and went to Walmart and purchased a pair of pants because no child should have to stand in front of their abuser for the first time covered in their own excrement. Another perfect example of what we do, and I will be honest, this case is one that was not one that stuck out in my mind. The only thing I could have told you about this particular case was that the victim at the time was very uncooperative with our office. But 12 years later, she showed up in our lobby and asked for me by name. And the reason she showed up in our lobby is because while I did not remember much about her case, she remembered me. She remembered that when she was not willing to leave, when she was not in a position where she could, that I had been supportive and I had met her where she was at. And she showed up 12 years later, hoping that I might still be there, to tell me that she was now ready to leave. And I sat in the lobby and I helped her fill out a civil protection order application. And I referred her to Colorado Legal Services, and I hope you will all be proud to hear that that day she filed for divorce and she has now left her abuser. And if that doesn't teach you the most intrinsic lesson of victim services, I don't know what does. And it is that people don't remember what you say or what you do, but they remember how you make them feel. And it may be 12 years before they're ready to leave, but if you make them feel like they matter, they will come back. And I was there to give her the support that she needed at that time. Finally, I want to share with you one of the things that I am most proud of in my career. I had a domestic violence case that took place during COVID, where unfortunately we were not able to go to trial because the courts were not open and able to process trials. We were able to reach a resolution in that case that sent her offender to the Department of Corrections. But it was so incredibly frustrating for my very cooperative victim to hear that we could not give her her day in court because of a public health crisis. I sat on the phone with her time after time, met with her in my office more times than I could count. And she took that experience and decided, as she said, that she wanted the opportunity to be a light in the dark for someone else. She went on to go to the Post Academy, and she is now an officer in the Denver metro area. And every October, which I'm sure you are all aware, is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. She sends me an email with an update and pictures to remind me that I'm the reason she gets up and does what she does every day. And to remind me to keep the faith that no matter what happens, I have the ability to be the light in the dark for someone who may not know the way. The truth is that we hold the power to turn a system that can feel transactional into a pursuit for justice. We get the opportunity to make a victim feel like more than a name in a police report. Because at the end of the day, we are there to remind everyone that the only person who did not ask to be present in a courtroom is the victim. And that's why they deserve to be treated with fairness, dignity, and respect. Thank you.
I want to acknowledge some of the other providers who were in the audience today who did not want to speak, starting with Marcy Hoffman and Amanda Manbeck from Judicial. Thank you for being here. Colorado State Patrol obviously has their own victim advocate program. I'm not sure if Laura was able to make it, Laura Winsett. We've heard from the Greeley Police Department, Gracie Fuller, Jody Terwilliger Stacy, Program Director for Self-Sufficiency, Project Self-Sufficiency, excuse me. Intervention Incorporated, Kimberly Sosa, the Weld County Sheriff's Office Victim Services Program, and Lorena Saldivar. Kimberly Shearer from Probation as a victim advocate. I know Kimberly's here. There you are. Thank you. And I'm going to stop with this simple comment. When I say victim services, that's who I'm talking about. This is the group that helps us take a victim and turn them into a survivor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. District Attorney. Comments from commissioners, please. Commissioner Pepler.
Oh, just thank you all for being here today. Thank you for sharing stories. I'm glad we're taking this time to remember the courage, strength, and resilience that survivors show each and every day. This week honors the decades of working towards protecting victims' rights. I'm so grateful that environments have been created where survivors now have a confidence to speak up, expecting that they'll be heard, believed, and supported. My thanks to staff, all the community partners represented here today, and the many, many volunteers that have had such a huge part in protecting victims and supporting them through their journey.
Commissioner Maxey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. DA, and for all the partners that were here today to speak. I know that it takes a lot of courage to get up to a podium and talk about certain things, especially personal things that are not easy to speak about, let alone this is not a courtroom. So I can only imagine having to do that in front of a judge and your accuser, as was mentioned, or excuse me, the person who committed the crime. I can only imagine that. I've got a lot of things on my mind. I'm going to try to keep it short because this could probably be a long monologue right now, but Mr. Chair, I will try to keep it a little bit short here. But there was a lot of things that were said that makes me think just personally about this proclamation and about our world in general. This is not a local, state or national issue alone. This is a worldwide problem. We don't have well, I'm going to say we have a big problem, and that's us. That's our own hearts and our own minds. Our society has fallen. We are imperfect people living in an imperfect world, and we do things that we shouldn't do, and then the victims feel like they are on trial for it. And that is not right. They should not feel invisible. They should not feel alone. It makes me think of two verses from the Bible. When Jesus was being quizzed by the Pharisees about the greatest commandment in the law, he said to them, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment, and a second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." And it also makes me think of Luke 6:31, which is very simple and what we are most likely to remember when we think about how we treat others, which is do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. We have lost that as a society. No offense, but if we did a little bit more of those two verses, there'd be a lot of jobs that wouldn't be required right now in our society. And so even though we are recognizing National Crime Victims' Rights Week today, and I think it is a very appropriate proclamation, I'm also saddened at the state of our world, but I want to thank everybody who's here today who provides these types of services for victims, because again, they are not the criminals. As a society, we have failed our victims, and we need to try to make that right, and it starts with us right here. So thank you.
Mr. Buck.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Commissioner Maxey. Very well said. You know, I didn't do a ride along because, to be honest with you, I don't think I could do it. I almost sure I couldn't do it without having a bat in my hand or wanted to have vengeance or being so
Not
angry. Yeah. And so I can't thank you all enough for all that you do for victims. I can speak as a victim. I've been through a lot, not once, but twice, and maybe more than that. But I know what it's like to just kind of search in the dark for some light. And I know that all of you have brought so much light for so many individuals. And from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you all. And thank you all for being here today.
Thank you for your presentation. There's nothing that I can say that hasn't already been said, other than to say that I have been a victim myself at the hands of somebody who lives in my home, which is not exactly the most appealing situation. I have availed myself of the services that your office provides, and I am eternally grateful and appreciative. I agree with Commissioner Maxey. We live in a fallen world. This Board of County Commissioners deals on a daily basis with problems, issues, opportunities, budgets. You deal with evil. And that's why I pray for you. Can we have a picture? Okay, under bids, number one is to approve bid B 2600-017, Retail Services Software Project, Department of Information Technology. Morning, Toby.
Good morning, Toby Taylor with Purchasing. The Justice Services and Information Technology staff have reviewed all vendor responses and scored and determined a short list of vendors. The vendors with the highest scores in round one of the evaluation were Catalyst and Equivent. The second phase of the evaluation consisted of a demo and an interview of these shortlisted vendors. The selection committee determined that Equivent out of Canton, Ohio was the best value solution for Weld County. Therefore, the recommendation is to award the pretrial services software to Equivent for a total amount of $86,550.
Questions for Toby or a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve bid B 26000017.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Buck, second by Commissioner Pepler to approve bid B 2600-017. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Number two is to approve bid B 2600-019, custodial services for downtown Greeley buildings and Northern Colorado Regional Forensic Laboratory Facilities Department.
This solicitation is for contracted custodial services for Weld County's downtown properties and the Northern Colorado Regional Forensics Laboratory. The request for proposal consisted of 2 rounds of grading criteria. The committee received 8 proposals and evaluated these based on best value to the county. Of these proposals, 3 firms were shortlisted and interviewed. The results revealed or showed that ARC Inc. is the best overall value for this solicitation. Therefore, the Facilities Department is recommending awarding to ARC Inc. in the amount of $275,097.72 for the next calendar year.
Questions for Toby or a motion, please?
Move to approve bid B 26000019.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Buck, second by Commissioner Pepler to approve bid B 2600-019. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number three is to approve bid B 2600-032, tree trimming and removal, Department of Public Works. Toby.
As advertised, this solicitation is for the 2026 tree trimming and tree removal bid. The Public Works Department received 3 bids for tree trimming and removal services. The low bid, Asplunda Tree Expert LLC could not honor the bid as they officially submitted. Therefore, the Public Works is recommending the award to the next bidder, which is the lowest qualified bidder, named American Arborist Services, for a total amount not to exceed $278,376.
Questions for Toby or a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we approve bid B 260003.
Second.
Oops, excuse me, 260032.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Maxey, second by Commissioner Buck to approve bid B 2600-032. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, Toby. Number 4 is to approve bid B 2600-039, conduct oral auction for large tract oil and gas lease, southwest quarter of the Section 35 Township 111 North, R63W 160 acres, and authorize the chair to sign. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Video, County Department. Brett Kavanaugh on gas. Commissioners, we received one bid from Bison Oil and Gas in the amount of $1,250 per mineral acre, which is a total of $200,000 for the 160 acres, and we recommend approval.
Questions or a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve bid B 26000039. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Buck, second by Commissioner Pepler to approve bid B 2600-039. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 5 is to approve bid B 2600-039. It's the same bid. Conduct oral auction for large tract oil and gas lease of southwest quarter, southeast quarters, Section 1, Township 7 North, R63W, 40 acres, and authorize the chair to sign.
Good job, Chair.
Good morning, Commissioners. We received one bid from Bison Oil and Gas in the amount of $1,200 per mineral acre, which is a total of $48,000 for the 40 mineral acres, and we recommend approval.
Questions or a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve bid B 26000039. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Buck, second by Commissioner Pepler to approve bid B 2600-039. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 6 is to approve bid B 2600-039, conduct oral auction for large tract oil and gas lease, east half of northeast quarter of the northwest quarter of the northeast quarter of the Section 1, Township 7 North, R63W, 120.23 acres, and authorize the chair to sign. Morning, Chris.
Commissioners, we received one bid from Bison Oil and Gas in the amount of $1,200 per mineral acre, which is a total of $144,276 for the 120.23 mineral acres, and we recommend your approval.
Questions or a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the resolution as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pepler, second by Commissioner Maxey to approve the resolution. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You're gonna make me read one more with these, aren't you? Oh, this is old business. Okay. This is consider large tract oil and gas lease for the northwest quarter of the Section 8, Township 7 North, R64W, 5.31 acres, and authorize the chair to sign for Noble Energy, Inc.
Mr. Chairman, on April 8th, it was communicated to you all that we had no bids. However, we did have one.
Oh, good.
It was received and it went in the mail to the wrong building.
Okay.
So it was sitting there. It was from Noble. And so in retrospect, we thought they did get their bid in on time. It is before you today for that large tract, and we would recommend that the board approve the lease to Noble for that amount.
And it was the only bid?
Correct.
Okay. Questions or motion, please?
Just real quick question, and it meets our minimum bid. I'm trying to find the numbers here and everything, but it meets our code required minimum bid amount.
It does.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we approve this resolution as presented for Noble Energy large tract oil and gas lease.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Maxey, second by Commissioner Buck to approve the resolution. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Regardlessly, before we get on to new business, Toby Chair would request a 5-minute timeout, please. I'm going to be in trouble. We'll resume at 10:19. Houston, I said that it was 10:19, but I don't think there's any reason to wait another. Resume. Record reflect all 5 county commissioners present. We're on to new business, please. New business number 1 is consider quote for cooperative purchase of equipment pursuant to Sourcewell amended contract 020223 CEC with Dosen Bobcat to North America and authorize the chair to sign any necessary documents for Bobcat of the Rockies. Toby, good morning.
The Public Works Department requested a skidster for the Road and Bridge Division. County Code Section 54100 allows the county to participate in cooperative purchasing agreements. Sourcewell is one of those cooperative agreements. Contract number 020223-CEC is the one that is being referenced. Therefore, Weld County Fleet Department is recommending approval of the specified skidster from Bobcat of the Rockies for a total cost of $58,032.
Questions for Toby or a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Buck, second by Commissioner Pepler to approve the resolution. Further discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 2 is to consider quote for cooperative purchase of equipment pursuant to Sourcewell amended contract 060122 CAT with Caterpillar Inc. and authorize the controller to sign any necessary documents for Wagner Equipment Company.
Public Works Department has requested a road reclaimer for the Road and Bridge Division. County Code Section 54100 allows the county to participate in cooperative purchasing agreements. Sourcewell 060122-CAT is the cooperative being referenced. Therefore, the Weld County Fleet Services Department is recommending approval of the road reclaimer from Wagner Equipment Company for a total cost of $749,135.
Questions for Toby or a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Buck, second by Commissioner Maxey to approve the resolution. Further discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 3 is to consider quote for cooperative purchase of equipment pursuant to Sourcewell contract number 011723 CAT and trademark license addendum with Caterpillar Inc. and authorize controller to sign any necessary documents for Wagner Equipment Company. Toby.
The Public Works Department has requested a wheel loader for the Road and Bridge Division. County Code Section 54100 allows the county to participate in cooperative purchasing agreements. Sourcewell 011723-CAT is the cooperative agreement being referenced. Therefore, the Weld County Fleet Services Department is recommending approval to purchase the wheel loader from Wagner Equipment Company for a total cost of $305,690.
Questions for Toby or a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Buck, second by Commissioner Pepler to approve the resolution. Further discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 4 is to consider quote for cooperative purchase of equipment pursuant to Sourcewell contract 020223 CAT and trademark license addendum with Caterpillar Inc. and authorize the controller to sign any necessary documents for Wagner Equipment Company.
The Public Works Department has requested a backhoe for the Road and Bridge Division. County Code Section 54100 allows the county to participate in cooperative purchasing agreements. Sourcewell 020223-CAT is the cooperative agreement being referenced. Therefore, Weld County Fleet Services Department is recommending approval to purchase the backhoe from Wagner Equipment Company for a total cost of $136,790.
Questions for Toby or a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Maxey, second by Commissioner Pepler to approve the resolution. Further discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 5 is to consider quote for cooperative purchase of equipment pursuant to Houston Galveston Area Council, DBA HGAC by General and Special Provisions Amended Contract HT06-20, authorize the controller to sign any necessary documents for Buckner Truck Sales, Inc.
The Public Works Department has requested a utility bed attenuator truck for the Road and Bridge Division. Weld County Code Section 54100 allows the county to participate in cooperative purchasing agreements. The Houston Galveston Area Council, doing business as HGAC by, with contract number HT06-20, is the cooperative being referenced. Therefore, the Fleet Department is recommending approval of this purchase of the utility bed attenuator truck for a total cost of $160,223.
Questions for Toby or a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Buck, second by Commissioner Pepler to approve the resolution. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Number 6 is to consider contract ID, thanks Toby, contract ID 10545, amendment number 1 to agreement for professional services for inmate communication services, bid B 2300-133, authorize the chair to sign for Global Tel Link Corporation, DBA Via Path Technologies. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mark Pollard, Weld County Sheriff's Office. Over the past 2 years, the Federal Communications Commission has been debating new rules in regards to cost recovery related to inmate communications in jails and prisons throughout the nation. Federal Rule FCC 2575 was passed in November of 2025, became effective last week, April 6th. In compliance with that federal rule, it is necessary to amend our current contract with Via Path Services for inmate communications. Taken the opportunity to amend the new rule changes and extend our contract for their services through next calendar year.
Questions for Lieutenant Pollard or motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve contract 10545.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pepler, second by Commissioner Maxey to approve contract ID 10531. Further discussion? All in favor say 10545, sorry. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Consider contract ID, number 7 is to consider contract ID 10531, service agreement for community chronic disease assessment, and authorize the chair to sign for Colorado State University Institute for Research in Social Sciences. Good morning, Director Chester.
Good morning, Jason Cheshire with the Health Department. This services agreement engages Colorado State University to act as a third-party facilitator for stakeholder meetings for a preventative block grant that was previously approved by the board. This is part of the deliverables on the grant contract. It is for $18,520, and I recommend that the board approve the services agreement.
Questions for Jason or a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we approve contract ID 10531.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Maxey, second by Commissioner Buck to approve contract ID 10531. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 8 is to consider contract ID 10532, services agreement for Larimer Weld Regional Assessment, and authorize the chair to sign for Colorado State University Institute of Research for the Social Sciences. Jason.
Thank you, sir. Same services, different grant. So this would again engage Colorado State University to act as a third-party facilitator for our chronic disease pilot program. This grant was previously approved by the board. The contract is fully funded by that grant, and the amount would be $16,650. And I recommend that the board approve the service agreement.
Questions for the director or a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve contract ID 10532.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Buck, second by Commissioner Pepler to approve contract ID 10532. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Number 9 is consider contract ID 10539, agreement concerning the use of the Chase Building South Plaza Courtyard, 827th Street, Greeley, for Cinco de Mayo event, and authorize the chair to sign for Amigos Unidos.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Patrick O'Neill, Director of Facilities. This is an agreement to use the sidewalks around the Chase Building as part of a Cinco de Mayo event. And this agreement is with Amigos Unidos, and we recommend approval of the agreement.
Can we go?
Certainly can.
Okay,
Are we invited?
I believe it's open to everyone.
Questions for Patrick or a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve contract ID 10539.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Buck, second by Commissioner Maxey to approve contract ID 10539. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 10 is consider contract ID 10551, agreement concerning use of various North Business Park area for dog scent tracking and training activities. Authorize the chair to sign for Golden Retriever Club of America. Morning.
Good morning again. And this is for Golden Retriever Club of America to use our property on a weekend for scent tracking event. This is, they'll have their own restrooms and for the people. And
That's for the dogs.
and there's this very low impact event, so we recommend approval of that.
Can we go and pet the dog? Question, please, Commissioner Maxey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Patrick, I'm looking at this exhibit here, and when we did the pass around a while back, there are 4 locations that are on the exhibit. I'm seeing the agreement that also details 4 locations. I never got any feedback on my concern about these dogs going through and using part of our motor pool. The grassy areas I'm okay with, but why through the motor pool? And what was the discussion after that note got sent back on the pass around? Because I didn't hear any follow up.
Okay, I'm going to invite Deputy Director Mike Baranovic to come up. He'll have more explanation on that.
Yep. Morning, Mike.
So the actual area that they're going to use is going to be just the grass area. I just don't think we had updated the map.
Well, the map, but then the agreement has 4 locations as well, which I'm assuming detail the 4 locations on the map, which includes the motor pool still. So if the map and the agreement, and there's A, B, C, and D, if those 4 locations mirror the map, then I'm not in favor of letting folks in and through the motor pool and around all that equipment with the dogs. They can use the grassy areas, in my opinion. I'm only one of 4 up here today, but I asked that question on the pass around, and I didn't know if that would be amended or not. It appears it was not amended, so if that's the case, then I'll probably be a no on this just because of my stance on that, but I just wanted to make sure that was known.
We can get an amended map sent over if you'd like.
It'd be the map and the agreement.
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Chair, then is it prudent? I mean, this has already been signed. I don't know when this event is taking place. I didn't read that, but is it prudent to continue this then until the next meeting so that agreement map can be amended? Or what's the rest of the board think? If I'm the only one, then the rest of you can vote on this.
I think it would be proper, Commissioner Maxey, to move to approve or move to amend the map. We can do that here. You guys submit the amended map as part of the agreement, and then the amended agreement will be approved.
I agree with that.
So the amended map would have to be done, and we would have to amend the agreement to take out the location, because the locations are all listed here.
It's not going to be until October 3rd.
Oh, so we got plenty of time.
We got plenty of time.
Do you want to continue this matter until the agreement?
I would actually make a motion to continue this. I am concerned that
Pick a date certain, please.
whatever
Kick it down
date
the
certain would be coming up, Miss Houston,
How about the 20th of April? Please.
to continue this on the 20th of April, 2026.
At 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
I'll second.
I would be curious to know if they are hoping to utilize the vehicles as obstacles or something like that. That would help in their training.
That's what I think. They would be using those vehicles, but what do you know?
I just want to point out that
I'm
on
out.
the 20th of April, Commissioner Maxey is reflected as excused.
Well, then the problem's taken care of.
Yeah, no.
Exactly.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, the area that they're going to use at the motor pool was moved to the detention pond that's south, like the wash bay area. So that's where they were going to change that to.
So then it truly is just a map reflection that needs to be modified.
Yes, but we can do the agreement to match. No problem.
Well, the agreement has the address of the motor pool, so the agreement should be good. It's just the map exhibit that would need to be changed.
Sure.
So then back to your original point, Mr. Chair, we could approve it today with the amended map as a
Get a
requirement.
reminder, there's a privilege motion on the floor, what you said.
There is.
So, but there's no second.
No, I seconded it.
Oh, you did second?
Yeah.
it?
I think it's appropriate to continue until the 20th or the 22nd, if you would like to amend your motion. If you want to take a look at it and let them get it all straight, then we'll run it through again.
I'm out the 22nd as well.
Do you work?
Oh.
At a conference, sir.
It's allowed to have some time off.
You can push it till the 27th if you would like, since we have plenty of time until October.
There we go.
I know, but it sounds like it's technical. So if you
It
would,
is. We could just get a new map.
let's get a new map. and
I'm
just-
willing to rescind my
Are you
second.
withdrawing?
And I'll withdraw my motion.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, with the information that's been provided today, I'd be okay with approving this contract ID 10551 with the caveat that we will get a new exhibit that will accurately reflect the new route.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Maxey, second by Commissioner Buck to do that, which he stated on the record that I can't recall and won't repeat.
That's right. Don't try.
Further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Under new business planning, number 1 is to consider contract ID 10516, improvement and road maintenance agreement according to policy regarding collateral for improvements. Authorize the chair to sign and accept project collateral for 1041 Weld County Oil and Gas Location Assessment Permit, 1041 Wogla 23-0035 for PDC Energy Inc. Good morning, Jasmine.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jasmine Trio Martinez with Planning Services. Regarding the improvements and road maintenance agreement for 1041 Wogla 23-0035 PDC Energy, we respectfully request that the board accept project collateral in the amount of $410,275.36, procured in the form of a performance bond number 070226920, guaranteed by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company. The applicant understands the required improvements to be completed, and you should have a scope of work in your packets behind the reso and the agreement. Thank you for your consideration on this matter.
Questions for Jasmine or a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve contract ID 10516.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Buck, second by Commissioner Pepler to approve contract ID 10516. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 2 is to consider contract ID 10518, improvements and road maintenance agreement according to policy regarding collateral for improvements. Authorize the chair to sign and accept project collateral for use by special review permit USR 25-0001 for Colorado Sand Company 2 LLC. Jasmine.
Regarding the improvements in road maintenance agreement for USR 25-0001 Colorado Sands Company 2, we respectfully request that the board accept project collateral in the amount of $3,461,824, procured in the form of performance bond number 2371818, guaranteed by Swiss RE Corporate Solutions America Insurance Company. The applicant understands the required improvements to be completed, and you should have a scope of work in your packets behind the reso and the agreement. Thank you.
Questions for Jasmine or a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion. We approve contract ID 10518.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Maxey, second by Commissioner Pepler to approve contract ID 10518. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, Jasmine. This is public comment. Each individual speaker is allowed a 3-minute period of time in which to direct comments to the board. Chair shall enforce the rules of order and decorum and will not accept comments regarding matters which are scheduled to be considered at a future public hearing, such as a land use hearing. In that event, the speaker will be asked to give their testimony at the appropriate public hearing, either in person or in writing, pursuant to the rules set forth in Section 2120E of the Weld County Code. Any public comment this morning? Please, if you would sit or hear whatever's most comfortable for you, and state your name for the record. Unlike last time, you have 3 minutes, please, to make your comments. Thank you.
You all got this, didn't you, the packet, the papers? Okay, so it substantiates the problem with the mailbox. The reason I'm talking to you is because I already talked to Perry about this, and I understand going to legislative council.
I hate to interrupt you, but we do need, for the record, your name, if you'd be.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Pastor R. Chris Eichenberg.
Okay.
And your address? And R. Chris. You can call me Chrissy or Pastor Chris. You can choose either way.
And your address?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I have a problem because this is actually directed towards your attorney. The United States Postal Service is doing a federal investigation against the tampering with mail at the mailbox. It started originally, as I said, that the mailbox had been sent to the note for court for allegedly trespassing at my own mailbox through the DA's office, but it has to be approved by Steve Reams before it can go to the DA. Okay, so Steve is involved with this. So number one, I'd like to be able to find out how to do a recall petition, because it turns out that this book is full of proof of this mailbox being in existence before anything else happened with this road. According to the federal government, you cannot keep somebody coming down their own road to get their mail. Okay, it is a designated road for the mail. It is a federal law. You cannot do this. Okay, so consequently, Mr. Barker is involved in this because I do have video in regards to the fact that he states that this road doesn't exist anymore, and I'm sitting here going, oh, yes, it does. But the fact of the matter is that the planning division has decided that they don't want us to have it. Now, you cannot block the portion of the lock by putting a gate across it and electrifying it. The sheriff's department was involved in this. At the discretion of Steve Breams, we had over 12 officers. Now I have their cards all here. Okay, I do have a whole listing. This shows you a little bit better. This is dangerous. They actually had to unlock this gate. Your sheriff's deputies were out there. But under this direction of this gentleman, working with Steam Rays, they decided they didn't want to have this road. Now this here is what you fill out when you change your address. Okay, this is the form. Okay, it's dated in 2015. That mailbox was changed to 38006 from 38204. It was approved by the federal government. It became part of the federal government's situation where they recognized this. Okay, we even had the postmaster come out, and we again had like 12 officers out there. This is impeding the gentleman that was with the Greeley Post Office, that was the postmaster. In fact, this one officer came up and said, "Who the hell are you?" to this postmaster. His name's Bobby's kind of salty. And
Ms. Eichenberg, your time is up. If you'd kindly wrap up quickly, is there a request of this board?
so basically, it was approved by the postmaster. He was in his federal capacity. The sheriff's office was harassing him. And on top of it, I think you got the letter from Mr. Reams that says that he approved.
Your time is up.
Okay.
Right now, you're on the
So
grace of the chair,
that's
which
the
is running
summary.
thin, so please wrap up.
Okay, the summary is that Steve Reams said that, and you all have this, that he could, that he gave permission to this ex-sheriff's deputy to pull up the mailbox. It is a felony to mess with any of this. And Mr. Barker has been involved in this situation. And I would ask that you would please give me, number one, a way to go ahead and put a petition together to revoke Steve Reams. The second is that Mr. Barker, this USPS investigation is going to go on, and they already have a copy of everything and all the deputies that were involved. Anybody, including his planning division, are in possible felony violation of tampering with our mailbox.
Thank you for your
And
comments.
I wanted to let you know.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you. Additional public comment, please. Seeing none, we'll stand adjourned. We do have 10 a.m. Land use hearings, but if we can take a 5-minute recess, we'll be back, Molly, at 10:45. Thank you.